everybody. We're starting our training in 3 minutes. So I'll wait till you hop on, and I'm going to give Rona a call here, and we're going to talk all about foods that are going to help us through the fall to help us detox. Okay? It's really, really, really good call. I'm excited about it. 3 more minutes. So when you do hop on, let me know your name and where you're calling from, and of course the weather there today. Starting in 3 minutes. Hey, Rona, you ready for the call? Okay, good. Grab your beverages. We'll be here for about 45 minutes.
I want to tell you a quickie that somebody was on, Julie Daniluk was on TV. Did you ever think of wraps with nori?
Well, we could talk about it after the training.
I'm just pointing this out. It was just an idea. I never heard of it, and it's got a potential instead of bread.
Okay, well, we can ask that question once I start opening up the lines for comments and questions. But we want I was just telling you that. Just a thing. Okay.
Because I was impressed.
And I kind of missed what you said. You were saying something about what happened?
Wraps making wraps. You know how you make wraps with food? You put food in the middle and you wrap it up?
Yeah.
She made it with nori. You know what nori is?
Yeah. So Rona's giving a tip right now, and she's saying that a good food tip is to wrap your foods in nori instead of just like lettuce leaves, because nori. We know nori is a sea vegetable, and noris are really high in trace minerals. So those that are suffering from low thyroid or osteoporosis that need more minerals, or if you're suffering from excess pain in your body is saying, I need minerals. And a way to do that is to wrap your burgers or whatever your food you're eating in nori wraps. And you're going to allow the body to have more minerals so that it can get rid of pain and support the thyroid. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Rona. Appreciate that. That's good. We all need to share what works.
I was impressed. I never thought of that.
Rona was impressed. She hasn't thought of that. Okay, so whoever's popping on, I see there's 3 people popping on. I would love to know your names, where you're calling from, and of course the weather there today. So, yeah. And I'm going to start the training in about a minute. Just want to make sure you guys can see me okay. Yeah, you can. Cool. Good. All right, so we are going to start the training. So hello, my name is Michelle Hart. I am hi Tamara. So here we are, Tamara, she's saying hi. So Tamara is from Pittsburgh, and it's 43 degrees. Oh, okay, that's a little chilly. But I know you're going outside and getting your exercise, right? Tamara is a client of mine. So yeah, thanks for joining, Tamara. That's great. It's 77 degrees here in Playa del Carmen. And we had a lightning storm last night. It was so cool. Reese and I are in our own place now. We're empty nesters. And we sat on the deck and watched the lightning storm because we're at this the top of the building, and we get to see the ocean. It's really nice. Living your dream. So Tamara is saying gym inside and lots of outside walking, bundling up. Yeah, good. I'm glad that you are training and you're also going outside. So, okay, so whoever is on the call, please, your name, where you're calling from, and what the weather is like out there. So again, so who am I? My name is Michelle Hart, and I am a diet and detox specialist. And today we are going to be talking about, well, fall is here and we need to change our eating template. And so one of the best times to detox is actually a change in season. And so what better way to detox than to eat our way to clear away the toxins? So you're going to learn about some really cool stuff today that you can incorporate in your everyday meal plan so that you can remove the toxins. But you're going to learn, you're going to get more of a deeper dive about why we need to be concerned about toxins, maybe how toxic you might be, why we even need to detox, and foods that will help you detox. Okay, so I'm going to start the training. We've got Doug on the line. So Doug, at 37 degrees in Michigan. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to start the training now and share my screen. So one moment. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, if you hear noise in the background, we are, I'm getting an air conditioning put in right now. So sorry about that. Okay, so here we are. So today we're going to learn 14 tasty detox recipes for a feel-good fall detox. And I said feel good. The reason why I said feel good is because most people think that when they're detoxing, they're supposed to feel bad. Well, actually, if you do feel bad on your own detox, then you're on the wrong detox. And this has always been my message to everyone. Being on a detox means you're removing toxic chemicals, which then supports the body's health, which means you should feel good on a detox, not bad. If you feel bad on a detox, you're actually not fully removing the toxins that you're asking to remove, and they're recirculating into your body. And most importantly, where you need to be concerned about is they're recirculating through the blood-brain barrier and into the brain. And that's why you could be moody. You could have brain fog while you're on a detox. Well, you want to make sure that you are fully evacuating. It means getting rid of the toxins. If you're going to go on a detox, that means having more bowel movements, drinking more water to get it through the urine, and also doing some deep belly breaths, because this is how your body needs to remove the toxins. So again, if you are thinking about a detox, or if you are on a detox, you need to feel good on a detox, not bad. Okay, so hopefully that's made some sense. So let's talk about what we're going to learn today. So today, what you're going to learn are the following. You're going to learn why being aware of toxicity is the first step to improving your health, for yourself and for future generations as well. Okay, you're also going to learn what actually is a toxin. We're going to define that. You're going to actually get a questionnaire that you will actually be able to test yourself to see if you actually are the level of your toxicity. That's really important. And we're going to learn about how the body safely removes toxins, because it has the ability to do that. And then we're going to get into the 14 tasty detox recipes for a feel-good detox. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, we're just going to start a little bit about who I am. I am standing in front of you today because I had my own body transformation. And when I was young, I actually starved myself into an aging condition called osteoporosis and amenorrhea. So I was starving myself because I wanted to be thin, okay? But that led to a thinning of the bones and also no menstrual cycle. So I was aging rapidly. And this actually scared the heck out of me. So I had to figure out how I'm going to get my health back. And this is what started my journey into healing my body. And so what I discovered along the way was not only is the diet important, but actually how important it is to detox our way to health. And so once I discovered the right diet, how to detox, and then a healthy daily routine, which is like a daily schedule to put you back into circadian rhythm, then I actually fully reversed my osteoporosis and amenorrhea, all naturally. So I know what it feels like to feel like crap, and I know what it feels like to feel freaking awesome. And so today you're going to learn about some foods that will help you feel freaking awesome. Okay, how does that sound? Does that sound good? Hopefully it does. That's why you're here. So let's talk about the first thing that we are going to discuss, which is why being aware of toxicity is the first step to improving your health. Well, the reason for that is because unfortunately we are living in a very toxic world now. It's not the same world as it used to be. In fact, there are 80,000 reported chemicals registered by the Environmental Protection Agency. Okay. And the interesting part is we have these 80,000 chemicals that are registered with this agency. But did you know that 3,800 of which are high use chemicals? Okay, so high use. That means that out of these high use chemicals, half of them have been associated with toxic effects in humans, and less than 9% have been associated with toxic effects on children. But not only that, many are reported to have a toxic effect that lead to things like cancer. So yes, we do need to be aware that we are living in a toxic environment. Our bodies have the ability to remove toxins, but at the same time, we need to be vigilant on supporting our body's ability to remove the chemicals that we are daily exposed to daily. Okay. And this is, oh, that's an interesting slide. Okay. Sorry about that. Click to add text. Anyways, what we need to be paying attention to is just to further bring the conversation into this importance of toxicity and how we need to remove it. The Environmental Working Group in 2005 reported that they actually tested 10 babies randomly, just randomly. And what they found was 287 chemicals in their umbilical cord. So basically, babies, we are now even born toxic. So we start toxic. And then as we live through our days, we are exposed to more toxins. So we are born toxic. This is something new, and I need you to be aware of this, okay? And you may be wondering, where are these chemicals coming from? Well, a lot of them are coming from pesticides, herbicides, your everyday body care products that you're putting on your skin or that you're breathing in, like hairspray or perfumes or lotions and potions, all these things. They're going directly into your body. All right. And a lot of them actually have toxic ingredients, believe it or not. Well, there's gasoline and there's garbage. And did you know that 180 of these known chemicals actually do cause cancer in humans? Okay. So they are cancer causing, and it's over time. It's not like the one shot deal. No, it's over time. If you keep using these body care products like daily, right? And if you're using hairspray and all these things daily, they accumulate in the body. That's the problem. And 217 of these toxins are actually toxic to the brain and the nervous system. So this is something we really need to pay attention to, because just think about, okay, where we are in our, how is our health population doing right now? Okay, where are you seeing a large percentage of illness these days? Well, mental illness. And a lot of this has to do with the toxic load that we're exposed to. Okay, so I just want to bring this to your attention, right? So that's why we're doing this talk today. So I'm going to go back to my slides, just one moment. Okay, so let's shift gears and go, like, what even is a toxin? Like, what actually is this thing that we keep talking about? Well, a toxin is, that by definition, is a chemical substance which damages an organism. We are an organism, okay? It damages us, okay? And so where do these toxins come from? Well, it actually can come from your inside. So your metabolism, as you break down your foods and you go throughout the day, you're actually releasing toxins, okay? That's one way that we have these toxins. And the other way is from the outside environment. So something that you breathe in or you touch, right? Or you ingest as in food, okay? So let's go further about where actually are these coming from. Well, I want to share with you that all my clients, they get a done for you cheat sheet. And so for me, when a client comes to me, I actually give them a checklist, and it will actually show them exactly where these toxins are coming from and ways to avoid them. But just to give you an idea of where they are coming from, they're coming from the air. Air pollution would be one, really strong one, okay? Pesticides and herbicides, these are what the agriculture uses, they spray on the crops, they give it to their animals, and we ingest these, okay? And we eat every day. So these are coming into our bodies all the time. In addition to this, heavy metal. So do you have amalgam fillings in your mouth? Well, you have metal in your mouth, okay? That's a heavy metal. In fact, mercury and other metals are in your mouth. And every time you chew, you're actually releasing these metals through your systemic body, and they are causing, damage. They are over time. And fish. So fish, we know that we have to be very mindful of the fish that we're having these days. All right. So they accumulate the metals in the waters, and we're eating these. Personal care products. There's a lot of toxins that are actually in them. And these would be like plastic derivatives, all right? They will start to disrupt our hormones and our bodies. And then medications. If you are on medication, you are putting, I know that sometimes it's important, but other times they can be avoided. And these are where the toxins are coming from, okay? So let's kind of take a step back and let's evaluate to see even if you're toxic load. I think this would be really fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to see if there's any questions before I get into the questionnaire, because we're actually going to test ourselves to see if, where we are at with our toxic load. So just to see if there's any questions along the way, and then I'm going to get into the questionnaire. Anybody have any questions so far? No questions so far. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the questionnaire, and we're going to start to test ourselves to see our toxic load. Okay, so here we go. One moment. Okay, so just to give you some ideas on, your amount of toxic load. When I go through these signs or symptoms, what you're going to want to do is just think about, does it occur not very often? Does it occur more often, or does it occur like all the time? Okay. And so anyone who's watching this, I can actually send you the questionnaire so you can actually do it at home and score yourself. But I'm just going to go through some of the signs and symptoms that indicate toxicity in the body. Okay. The first one is if wine makes you sick. So basically you have a hard time drinking any wine. When you do, you get this flush, and you actually don't feel well. Well, that's a sign that the liver is overwhelmed, which is your main detoxifying organ, and your body is quite toxic. If you have a little bit of alcohol and you're easily intoxicated. Okay, well, mind you, we know that if you don't drink very much, this is also the case, but also if your body is overloaded with toxins, it can't handle any more through the liver. And that's why you get a feeling of intoxication when you just have a little bit of alcohol. Okay. If you have hemorrhoids, definitely, or varicose veins, we know that there's portal congestion. That means the portal vein that is in the liver is congested, it's closed. And this is showing up as hemorrhoids or varicose veins in your body. Okay. If you have chronic fatigue, we know that the body is toxic. Okay. If when you're sweating, it smells. We know that the body is overloaded with toxins. Okay, those are some signs that the liver is congested. Let's go look at the gastrointestinal tract. Let's see how your digestive tract is working. Well, if you frequently have belching or gas or acid reflux, so the food is coming up your esophagus and it's reaching into your mouth and you have that burning sensation, right? If you have gas or bloating, if you have bad breath, that is definitely a sign that your body is toxic. It is toxic. Constipation, if you're not having 1 to 3 bowel movements a day, we know that the body is actually not eliminating the toxins and your body is toxic. Okay. Let's flip the switch now to the ears. If you have ringing in the ears, which quite often I have a lot of clients coming to me frequently, lately actually, with ringing in the ears or itchy ears, okay, or if the ear is just not draining, the body is full of toxins. Eyes, if you have puffy dark circles under the eyes, if you have dark circles under the eyes and you're sleeping well, we know that the body's toxic. Okay, puffy eyelids, bags under the eyes. Again, if you're sleeping well and you have bags under the eyes, that's a sign of toxicity, okay? Blurred or tunnel vision, okay? Itchy eyes, definitely. Let's switch to the mental emotional. If you find yourself agitated or nervous for like no reason, you just kind of wondering, why do I feel this way, right? If you have a really hard time focusing, that is definitely a sign of toxicity in the brain. Mood swings, you're kind of up and down for no reason at all. You kind of wonder why, where's this all coming from? If you have fuzzy thinking, right, brain fog, those are signs of mental emotional toxicity, right? So let's go to the head. If you have headaches, if they're actually frontal, then we know that that's a digestive headache. That means that the gastrointestinal tract needs some support, okay? Skin, anytime you see things come up on the skin, that means it's not coming out the stools or the urine. You know that the body is trying to remove the toxins and it can't normally come out the normal route, so it's coming out the skin, okay? It's not doing it for fun. It's trying to say to you, listen, I'm too toxic than what I can handle. And this is really disrupting your health, okay? So thank your body for sharing this with you by showing it on the skin, okay? Nose, anytime you have a runny nose, a stuffy nose, if you have nasal congestion, stuffy head, the body's trying to do its best because it's overloaded with toxins. It's actually trapping them in your mucus to get it out of the body. And the mucus actually has its own immune factors that actually destroy pathogens. So we want to have this mucus because it's actually working for you. We don't want to stop the mucus production, just so you know. But if you have a lot of mucus, then we know that the body's overtoxic. If you look at your nails and you see that there's lots of splitting or ridges, then we know that it's really, you're toxic. It's actually the digestive system that's suffering. So again, it's your body saying, listen, like, I am more toxic than I can handle. Please help me. Please help me get rid of the toxins and stop putting them in. Really, that's what their body's saying, because it's giving you these signs and symptoms. Throat, we can talk about the mouth and the throat. If you look at your tongue and it's coated white, that's a sign of toxicity. If it's swollen, if you had this lump in your throat, I remember having a number of clients back in Kelowna who had this lump in their throat. Well, we knew that the body was toxic, okay? Ulcers, canker sores, mouth ulcers, canker sores, definitely the body is more toxic than it can handle, okay? Musculoskeletal, absolutely 100%. If you have pain or swelling in your joints, the body is pocketing the toxins in your joints because it's trying to keep you healthy and it doesn't want it circulating throughout the body. So it will actually pocket it, okay? So that is a sign of toxicity. Also, if you're somebody who likes to work out, but you work out and you become easily fatigued, we know that the body, the inflammation's can't handle the inflammation of the exercise because it's already overwhelmed from all the toxicity. Okay, that is a sign of toxicity, right? Muscle aches and pains, arthritic tendency. Yeah, anything arthritic would be too many toxins, okay? Painful joints, these kind of things. So also, if you have a really hard time losing weight, the body really needs to get rid of the toxins because it's going to make it so much easier for you to lose the weight and keep it off for life if you get rid of the toxicity, okay? And we can go on and on. Energy, if the energy is low, the body's toxicity is high. Well, let's see, if your urine smells as well, we know that there's some toxicity happening there. Or if you have pain in the mid-back region, those are your kidneys, then we know that the body is toxic. If you're craving breads or sugars, then actually the body is more toxic than it can handle. If you get sick often, okay, if you get sick all the time, or if you're around somebody who gets sick and you get sick right away, the body's overwhelmed with toxicity, all right? And if you have a history of vaccinations, absolutely, because remember, there are a bunch of different excipients in here, things that heavy metals and these sort of things, the body is becoming overwhelmed with chemical toxins, okay? So anyone who wants this, you can actually, you can test yourself at home. And then when you do, I really encourage you I'd love to see your scores. I'd love to see how you scored there. Because I actually went through quite a few signs and symptoms, but they are all associated with toxicity. And if we see higher numbers, then we know that the body's quite toxic, okay? So any comments or questions on all those signs and symptoms that I've just described? Do you have any questions on that before I move forward into our next discussion? Any questions about these toxins? Something you're experiencing that you're wondering, is it something to toxins, or you can always ask me. No questions. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the training and I'll pull it up. Okay. So we went through signs if you're toxic, and if you do want the questionnaire, let me know. Now let's kind of, let's find out, like, how does the body even remove these toxins? So yeah, you are going to be exposed to these toxins on a daily basis, but the body is so wise, it actually has the ability to remove these toxins. How does it do that? Well, your liver, you can see here, your liver is the main detoxifying organ. That one will filter out the fat-soluble toxins, okay? Then we have the kidneys, and that will, the liver, when it filters out the kidneys, it comes out the stool, okay? So anytime you have a bowel movement, just be happy that you're removing toxic waste products, okay? Kidneys, so when we, the kidneys also remove water-soluble toxins, and that comes out your urine. That's why it's so important to drink enough water for the day and support the kidneys. And then the colon would be another organ of elimination. And you want to make sure that that one also is healthy. And then, of course, the lungs. They're not showing here, but the lungs are a way to remove the toxins from the outside air and the environment. So you have special filters, the respiratory, and you remove the toxins that way, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to get into the recipes, which will be really fun, okay? And make sure you hang in to near the end, because I'm going to be offering something special to anyone who stays to the end, a special little gift. And so make sure you stay to the end for that, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this share, and I'm going to get into checking to see if there's any more questions. Usually I get quite a few. I don't see any yet. No questions so far. Okay, so we're going to go into the recipes now. All right. Here we go. Okay, so on the screen, you likely are seeing the fall detox meal plan. So this is something that I actually provide to all my clients, which is a meal plan designed just for them. So what I did was I pulled together one that has some ingredients in here that will help your body's natural detoxifying system to get rid of the toxins easily so that you feel great. And the meal plans that I provide my clients, they know exactly what meal to have and when. It's all made up for them. And there are some, leftovers, because we want to do the work once and not have to keep in the kitchen and making new foods all the time. But if you make it once, double the recipe, triple the recipe, and then have it, throughout the week. It's a smart way to eat healthy. And then also the nutrient breakdown, because really it's super important. If you're looking to improve your body composition, you've got to get the right amount of calories in, the right amount of fat, carbs, proteins, so that you can easily start to burn the fat and build the muscle, which is what I help my clients do a lot of. So here we are. We're going to start with the first recipe, and that is apple cinnamon overnight oats. Okay, so this is something you can do so easily in the evening to have a beautiful breakfast already made in the morning. And so what we like about this meal is, first of all, it's going to incorporate some ingredients that will help you, that are plentiful in the fall, because you want to eat within your season, right? So we want to eat foods that are grown in our environment, right? And so we know that And also we need to think about foods that are hardy in the fall. Something like grounding foods that's going to keep you warm, because the temperature typically starts to drop. And so that's when you want to get away from cold foods, raw foods. You want to get into cooked foods that are warming for your body, because the body needs more warmth. What better way than oats? And so you can soak them overnight, which you want to do. We don't just have oats on their own. We actually need to soak them first, because oats generally have these anti-nutrients that are already built in. And so we want to remove these anti-nutrients. We want to be able to eat the oats and absorb the nutrition from them, which is a lot of it's fiber, which is going to help with the bowel movements, which will help with your liver, right? And so you want to make sure that you are soaking them in some kind of a liquid overnight. And what you're doing then is you're drawing out the impurities, and then you're easily able to break down what you can't break down in your stomach, in your gastrointestinal tract. The liquid will do that for you, so that when you have the oats, they're already broken down, so the body can easily assimilate the nutrition from there. Okay, so that's why we want to soak the oats first for better assimilation. In addition to that, we've got some cinnamon and nutmeg and vanilla. Well, those three combinations are so warming for the body. Nutmeg is so warming. Just think about eggnog, right? In the Christmas time. It's soothing, it's warming, it's nutrition, actually. Cinnamon is really good for blood sugar balance. So if you're looking to get into a better body composition, if you have blood sugar swings, add cinnamon to your foods. Think about Ceylon cinnamon. It's got a higher nutritional value than other cinnamons, and also really helpful blood sugar balance. Apples are plentiful in the fall. You want to make sure that you have the skin on the apple, because it's got the pectin, which again allows for good bowel movement to support good detoxification. And it's got some walnuts in there. Walnuts are really good for the brain. They're good in they're high in omega-3, which are anti-inflammatory. They're plentiful in the fall. So you want to make sure this combination is like a really good combination for a quick to make breakfast in the morning. But what it's missing though is protein. So on this recipe, you're going to see we want to add protein on the side. Okay, this is way too many carbs for somebody who is looking to get into looking to lose serious weight, or even just to have good blood sugar balance, or to stay lean. Really, we want to get that protein in there. And so you can have just eggs on the side. You can make this and then have 3 or 4 eggs on the side, and that way it's a balanced meal, because then you have enough protein. Okay, so that's something to think about. Now let's go to the next recipe, which are pumpkin breakfast cookies. So you think about this. These are quick to make. You make them in advance, and then they're like grab and go, right? These are grab and go. Or you can use this as a snack if you are somebody who is snacking. I don't agree with snacking very much, but sometimes we need to snack, because first of all, we're running out the door, and we need something quick to grab. This is something that you can take with you. But also, if you're getting ready for like a dinner or a lunch and you are hungry, you can't wait like 1 or 2 hours. Just have maybe a bite of something like this to get you through, so that you're not famished for that meal that you're going to have with your family members or friends. Okay. So, and if you have kids, this is a really good way to keep them healthy, or grandkids. So here we've got oats again. Now we're adding in ground flax seeds. Ground flax seeds are so important for bowel movements. They have good fiber in them. They're also really good for the prostate as well. And they're high in omega-3, so they're good anti-inflammatory. I love them for the bowel movements, though. They really help with more bowel movements. Here we've got cinnamon and nutmeg again. Those are warming spices. And then we have some seeds in here. These seeds are so important. Again, what do? They allow for bowel movements. They want the fiber in there. We need more fiber than we're getting. And what better way than to get the fiber from seeds? There's a little bit of pitted dates, but it's a very low amount, because you don't want to have too high in sugar. You've got some eggs in here, pureed pumpkin. Well, we know pumpkin is plentiful in the fall. We want to be able to use it in a way that is that we enjoy. And so we can actually have them in our cookies. A little bit of raw honey. You want to look for something local and pasteurized. We've got some coconut oil in here, which is, again, good for our bodies. It's microbial and keep your immune system really working well. And then we have some grated carrots. Okay, so carrots are again really high in fiber. So if you want to have this as part of your breakfast, for example, just have a protein shake on the side, because again, it's missing that protein. There's not enough protein in all these seeds to actually get enough for your body. So just do a protein shake on the side, just something to think about. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop this and see if we have any questions so far. Because again, I don't like to be a talking head. I like to incorporate you into this discussion because you have questions, you have comments. And here's the thing, no one's judging. Like, we all probably have the same question you do. And if you offer it, then we can all learn. Okay. So we have one question from Tamara. Can we add the oats to the meal plan? Can we add the oats to the meal plan? Yum. So yes, if your meal plan doesn't, if you're avoiding grains and dairy, then oats are a grain and you don't want to incorporate it until you are ready to have grains and dairy. But if your meal plan does include grains, oats are a fantastic grain. As long as you soak them in advance. Most people don't. They don't soak them. And so they wonder why they have gastrointestinal distress, right? Why they have stomach pains, why they have just pain somewhere in their abdomen. It's because, like, usually the ileocecal valve gets inflamed because the body isn't able to break down the oats because the anti-nutrients and the phytic acid and enzyme inhibitors. That's why we need to soak them so that we can assimilate them. So that's my answer to that. Then we have another question here. Can we add protein powder to the first recipe instead of the eggs on the side? Absolutely. As long as you get your protein in there, however you like to have it. Protein powder is a great tool to use under your belt to get the protein up, because here's the thing. Most people aren't getting enough protein, and that's why they're suffering with too much weight. They don't feel strong enough. Their skin is sagging. Their hormones are off. We actually need protein to detoxify for phase 2 detoxification, to prevent breast cancer, for one example. We need to get more protein than we're getting. And so that's always my message to everyone, is protein every time you eat. So whatever protein that is for you, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Protein powder is awesome. Any other questions before I get moving forward to the other recipes? Those are great questions. Okay, so not right now. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to go back to the training right now. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to get now into a salad. So yes, it is raw. You can actually slightly cook these, which is actually what I would do. Okay, I would slightly saute this and have a warm salad, right? So what have we got that's so special about the salad that's going to help with fall detox? Well, number one would be, I'd have to say, salmon. So salmon actually really does support detoxification. Why? Because we need the amino acids from the protein to fully detox our body. Okay. And primarily the liver is what needs it the most. The liver is where phase 2 happens. And we need protein for that to happen. Salmon is one of the best protein sources you can have. Just make sure that the salmon is wild salmon and not Atlantic farmed salmon. There is a complete difference in the body when you consume those two different foods. Wild salmon, the body recognizes as something that it can assimilate, okay? And it's actually an anti-inflammatory protein as well, because the omega-3. But the farm salmon has more omega-6, which is inflammatory. And also it's farm raised. The body does not assimilate, doesn't look at it as the same as wild. So it's going to have a harder time breaking it down and could cause inflammation. So again, look for the good salmon, the wild salmon. So you can get wild salmon in a can. I mean, I've got it. I've ordered those many times. The other thing with this recipe is it is chock full of ingredients that help with liver detox. What are they? The brassica family. So the kale is from the brassica family, and it really helps, again, support liver detox. And we've got cucumbers here, which are hydrating. We've got some frozen peas, which are delicious. We have good fat, which is extra virgin olive oil. When you get your extra virgin olive oil, make sure it's dark glass container, not plastic, because you're putting in the plastics, I can't remember, bisphenol, I guess what it is, from the plastic into the olive oil, and you're drinking that. And that's going to disrupt your hormones. It'll actually throw your estrogen, progesterone off, your testosterone. So you want to make sure that you're drinking out of glass, okay, to avoid those chemicals, the hormone disrupting chemicals. Vinegar is so good for digestion. You could use balsamic vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar if you want, which is, again, good for detoxification as well. And that would be why this recipe is so good. Now, if you don't like salmon, don't worry about it. Just switch up the salmon to something like grilled chicken. Why not? Grilled turkey, grilled pork, any kind of animal protein you like. And if you are not having animal protein and you are more vegetarian, then think about maybe cooked lentils that have been already soaked or sprouted, and maybe some rice. So beans, lentils with grains together is going to be a complete protein, especially when you add the sprouts to it, because it actually increases the protein value of the meal if you are a vegetarian. Okay, I learned this from Dr. Jack Tips. I even called him from the States and asked him if this is true, and he said yes. He wrote a book on it. So if you're vegetarian, again, beans, grains with sprouts will give you high protein value. Okay. So we've got that. I'll see if there's any questions on what I've just shared there. Okay, so we have a question from Doug. Are you going to post these recipes? You will. I can send it to you because that's the gift to you also. There's another gift at the end, but you will get these sent to you. I can send it to you through Messenger. You'll get a copy of it. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions so far, or are we going to get to the next recipe? Hopefully you're learning a bunch of things. Okay, so I'm going to go now to the next recipe. So the next recipe is hummus dippers. So hummus is a bean. It's chickpea. And so it's like a legume. And so if you're avoiding legumes, this wouldn't be for you. But if you are having legumes in your diet, then this would be a really nice kind of food that you can incorporate. And why it's so great is because hummus or chickpeas are actually really high in fiber. They are easy to digest as well. They're high in, if you're going to pick a bean that has protein, they're high in protein. They're one of the highest protein legumes that you can consume. Celery is a fantastic vegetable for male prostate and also for hydration. So we want to eat foods that are hydrating to our bodies, and a lot of the vegetables are, but celery in particular has a lot of hydration to it. So you can eat foods that will improve your hydration if you're not really used to drinking that much water. The more veggies you eat, the less water you need to drink, really. Carrots and bell peppers. So if you have an autoimmune condition or arthritis, you're going to want to avoid bell peppers because it's a nightshade. However, carrots and celery, it's delicious. Okay. What you're going to want to add on the side, though, again, is some kind of protein. So in my mind, a chicken, like chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks would be a really good adjunct to this. Chicken and hummus seems to really, really go well together. Get the protein in. So this would be something, a meal that I would avoid. And so it was part of the meal plan, but really, I'm going to say avoid it. And the reason for that is a number of reasons. If you're going to at all have trail mix and you think that is going to be a healthy food to get you, through the day, I would have to argue the answer is no. The reason for that is because for most people, they overeat nuts because it's so easy to overeat. And they're so high in calories. And not that we count calories, but really if you're having more food than the body can use, it will store it as fat, and that's going to be inflammatory to the body, and it will move you away from your health goals. So I guard against trail mix because it's just way too easy to overconsume these. Also, they could add to a nice stomach ache because most people, when they have trail mix, they don't chew enough that is necessary to break down these foods. And then what happens is it's not fully broken down. It enters the stomach. The stomach has to work extra hard to break this down with the stomach acid. And then finally it enters into the small intestine. It's way too much energy consuming. And it's something that I would 100% avoid. We're getting more, now we're getting to celery and sunflower seed butter. So what I love about this again is it's quick and easy. It's a great snack. Sunflower seed butter actually has a good fat and some protein in there. This would be a nice little snack so that you're not famished for dinner, right? Because you don't want to overeat because you're so hungry. Okay, that's going to move you away from being healthy. Okay, so you just want to make sure that when you eat, I'm hungry. Wait a little bit till you're actually hungry and then eat, but not wait too long, okay? Because your blood sugar will go down too much, and you will probably eat more than you need or grab foods that you normally wouldn't eat because you're just so hungry. So this would be something you keep on hand. It's also good for guests out on the table as an appy would be nice because I know we're going to get into some holiday season coming up. This is a great little thing to place on the plate. Kids like it, grandkids like it. And just make sure the sunflower seed butter is ideally everything organic. Again, we don't want to put more toxins into our bodies. We need to have less toxins by choosing foods that aren't sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. I'm going to stop this for a sec. I do want to give you this one really cool tool that you could use. I'm just going to go here. And you may want to write this down. It's ewg.org. And so what they do is if you're on a budget and you want to eat healthy and you want to get into a good body shape, but you can't, it's not in your budget to buy everything organic, then what they did is they put together a list of clean 15 and dirty dozen. So the dirty dozen would be the foods, the vegetables, and the fruits that are the most highly sprayed that you're going to want to get organic. Okay, and then the other one is the clean 15. So they're already pretty clean already. So you can just buy them conventional. This is if you're trying to eat healthy on a budget. Okay, so hopefully that's helped you. There. So I'm going to go back to the training and the recipes. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Oh, soup. So this would be one of my favorites. We want to have soups and stews in the fall and winter time because again, they're warming. They're going to keep you warm when it's cold. They're easy to digest, and they're just really, they feel really good when you eat them. So we have butternut squash. Well, we know butternut squash is plentiful in the fall, so we're going to want to use that squash in some kind of a recipe, but why not a soup recipe? Here we've got cinnamon, helps balance blood sugar. We've got extra virgin olive oil, a good healthy fat. Okay, we've got apples. Remember, we want to have the peel as well. Onions are really good for the liver. It's a liver-friendly food. Ginger would be my number one. Ginger and paprika. You want to load up in the fall and winter because they actually have its own. It's like food is medicine. They're antimicrobial. Okay, so it's going to keep the pathogens at bay when you can eat things like ginger and add some paprika to add some heat to that to circulate the nutrition throughout the body. That's what the heat does. The paprika and the cayenne does when you consume that. It improves circulation so you can move the nutrition around so that you can be healthy. And then it's got vegetable broth, but really I would switch that up for chicken broth, homemade chicken broth. And for me, I have about a cup of chicken broth a day and I add it to most of my meals. Chicken broth is full of minerals. So if you are having animal products, then I would go with chicken broth. But if you're vegan or vegetarian, then you can have the vegetable broth, whatever works for you. And then we have kale leaves. So we know kale is really good for the liver. And so you can put all this together. then again, there's no protein here, is there? So we want to add the protein. So if you are eating animal products, then you want to think about protein you like. It could be chicken or pork, it could be beef, it could be fish, any of those. And if you're a vegan or vegetarian, then you want to think about cooked red lentils will go really well in here, and then white rice or quinoa, okay? And then I would actually put sprouts on the top to add the protein value to that. Now we're going to get into portobello BLT. So you notice that there's no grain here. They're using the portobello mushroom as the bun, which is a really cool idea. Or you can just also use Rona's idea, which is you can actually wrap this in nori. So nori is a seed vegetable. We need more vegetables from the seed than we're getting. And so I love that Rona brought that up. And again, it's really good for those that are wanting to support their thyroid, because the thyroid really needs these trace minerals from sea vegetables. If you want to improve your metabolism, because again, it's going to support the thyroid to improve your metabolism. If you have aches and pains, like I would incorporate more sea vegetables. This recipe calls for bacon. I would look for pasture-raised bacon, or bacon that doesn't have all that fat. So you want more meat on your bacon than you want fat, okay? We have portobello mushroom caps. Portobellos are really good for the immune system. They have an ingredient, I can't remember, beta something, that supports immune system. We have garlic, which is an antimicrobial. Garlic along with ginger. Again, garlic is also an antimicrobial. You want to have as much of that as you can. Keep the vampires away, but also keep the pathogens at bay. We have basil leaves, and lemon. Lemon is another ingredient that we can add to our meals, and lime, that support liver health. So that supports the removal of fat-soluble toxins to help you be healthy. Arugula is, again, that's another vegetable, leafy green that's good for the liver, and it's actually mainly wild. We want to have more of the wild sources of vegetables and fruits than we do the hybridized or the ones that are sweetened up. So arugula is one of the wild lettuces that is bitter. So anything bitter is good for the liver. So this is why this is included in this recipe. Avocado is a healthy fat. And then tomatoes you can add. If you're avoiding nightshades, you wouldn't do the tomatoes. But if you are having nightshades, and include the tomatoes. For lycopene, really good for the eyesight. And it's an antioxidant, keeps us young. So here we go. That's this recipe here, which is really looks delicious. And I'm going to stop to see if there's any questions so far with any of the recipes that I've gone through so far. No questions. And if there are, just post them here. I'm going to go back to the rest of the recipes. So here we go. Okay. So now we're going to get into chicken burgers. Oh yeah, Greek chicken burgers. You can swap chicken with turkey if you want. But here we are getting into red onion. Red onion is high in quercetin, which is really good. Actually, they're really good antihistamine, I believe. Good for mitochondria, for energy. We've got some spinach in here. That's a good dark leafy green, which is high in minerals like magnesium, which is going to help you support your immune system throughout the fall. So you'll notice here there is no grain. There's almond flour, okay? You've got some black olives. So black olives are one of the healthiest fats you can consume, black or green olives. You want to load up on those. And we've got some feta cheese. So if you're avoiding dairy, so you'd avoid the feta, but if you're having dairy, sheep feta is the easiest to digest. And actually, I believe that the tastiest as well. So this would be something you can think about having. And then we're getting into another salad. You can, again, you could warm this up or stir fry it. Easy to do. All these ingredients can be heated up. So with this one, you're looking at things like brocconcini. So again, this is a cruciferous vegetable, really good for liver. And so you're eating foods that are going to support the detoxification pathways. Again, you've got the garlic as an antimicrobial, your olive oil in a glass dark bottle, some vinegar to help with the gut digestion. You can do balsamic or apple cider vinegar. Lemon again for the liver. And then we have some zucchini here. Zucchinis are so plentiful in the fall. In fact, you probably have more than you can consume. And so a way to use them is to put them in something like this. Now we're getting into honey garlic chicken thighs. How delicious is this? So if you have a barbecue, this would be something that you're going to want to think about. Think about this recipe when you're ready for your next barbecue. Okay. So what makes this recipe really good for detox is the asparagus. Again, these are good for the liver. Asparagus, broccolini, the kale. These are good liver-friendly foods. The onions that we talked about. The lemons, these are all things you want to consume on a daily basis, because really it's daily that you want to detoxify. You don't want to just do one big one once a year. You want to daily do the detox, and you can do this through your foods. So we've got some quinoa in here. You can choose to have or not. If you're having grain, you can have it. And if you're not, then I would remove the quinoa from here. And just have the rest. Chili powder. This is what's going to keep you warm from the fall and the winter. So again, you want as much heat as far as spices and herbs as you can in the fall and winter. The body needs these spices. Okay, load up on them. I highly recommend you do that. And then nectarine. So I wrote with protein. So quite often, I have clients come to me who want to get into a better body composition. They want to burn fat, build muscle, but then they're just eating fruit, thinking that that's healthy. Well, it is, but not on its own, because it will raise blood sugar. And anytime you have a food that is going to raise blood sugar this quickly, you will stop fat burning, and actually, depending on how you handle blood sugar, it could be raised for quite a while. And this is what's going to disrupt your blood vessels. It actually can cause nicks in your blood vessels, where then the cholesterol needs to come and be the rescue, and it gets deposited. And then all these cardiovascular things happen, all because blood sugar dysregulation. So a way to avoid this, okay, is you can have your fruit, but always make sure your fruit is with a protein and fat. So if you're going to have nectarine or any kind of fruit, make sure it's in a smoothie where you have your protein powder and your healthy fats, or even some sunflower seed butter, right? Any kind of protein and fat with your fruit is going to be very beneficial to you, okay? But never on its own. Lastly, I'm going to talk about one more thing, and that is cantaloupe. So quite often I have clients come to me consuming cantaloupe along with other fruits. Well, we never want to mix any kind of melon with any other fruit. It will disrupt your digestive system, which then stops detoxification, and you wonder why your body is more toxic than it can be, even eating healthy foods like this. Because if you're going to disrupt your digestion, you're not eliminating the toxins very well, right? Cantaloupe or any melons always must be only in its own category of melon. So melons always on their own. We don't mix melons with grapes, or which you see quite often actually in fruit cups. Melons with like berries. No, they're not meant to be mixed. Okay, melons are with melons. Cantaloupe with watermelon would be one example. Again, we never have this on its own. You can have it with some kind of nut butter. Okay, or you can make a smoothie with it. Totally fine, because you're having that. So yes, so we have tamara. Interesting, I didn't know about that, about the melon. Yeah, now you do, and that's awesome. And that's good. And you didn't mention cooked fruit with animal protein. Yeah, good for you. You're a good student. You're awesome. Yeah, so if you are having animal protein like chicken and you want to have mango chicken, well, mango is cooked. So raw fruit with animal protein is a digestive mismatch. But if you have cooked fruit, like cooked melon with chicken, or barbecued pineapple, because it's cooked, right, with chicken, or barbecued pineapple on a burger, which I do quite often. Cooked fruit is perfect with animal protein because you've broken down what you can't break down through your own digestive system. the cooking breaks it down for you so that you can marry the two together and have good digestive system. So I'm glad you brought that up as a teaching point. That's awesome. It's really, really good. Okay, and so any other questions before I go to the next slide? So far, everything's looking good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to the training and okay. So I hope you've enjoyed today's training on these foods that you can enjoy to help the body detoxify over the fall. If you are looking for more help, then and you find that, you know, this may not be enough for me to get rid of the toxins, because really sometimes we need intervention and we need to actively go after a detoxification program that actually truly gets the toxins out so that you can feel your best, right? And it is a big part in being healthy, is actually going after these toxins and getting them out of the body instead of recirculating them. So I'm going to offer you, anyone here, a free call. And what I can do is find out where you're at, where you want to go, and help you get there quicker, faster. And so if this sounds right for you and you need more help, just send me a comment below and say, yeah, I'm ready. And the comment would be detox. So we can talk a lot about that. But anyways, I am offering those calls to you. And I'm going to go back here. And so Tamara is saying, thanks, I wish I was home to start cooking. Yeah, so Tamara is on a trip right now. However, you can still use these ingredients and pick and choose, say if you're at a buffet or someone's house, and just eat more of the ones that you know are going to help you detoxify. I know for me, what I do for my clients is I actually actively put them on a detox, and that this would be one example of one, which is a liver and kidney detox. So it actually gets the toxins out of the body by using the underdrops. Underdrops go in the cell to get the cell well. And so I actually customize the drops to the individual and what their needs are. And just so you know, I'm doing my own right now. So this is my box of detox drops because I was in the hospital and I was full of chemicals and medications to get my wrist better. And so I knew that I didn't feel myself like I normally feel after coming out of the hospital. I felt toxic. And so I put myself on my own detoxification program, and it's working out amazing. So it does work. And if you need more help, let me know. And I'm happy that you were on the call today. The replay will be up. So if you want to share it with others, you can do that. And again, you can reach out to me for questions. And I want to thank you so much for joining. Have a fantastic rest of the day.